What if everything you thought you knew about Russia was a carefully crafted illusion? Let's peel back the layers of myth to uncover the unexpected realities. From frozen tundras to gilded palaces, Russia's story is shrouded in mystery, but what lies behind the curtain of stereotypes and tales? Russia, a land of power, mystery, and contradictions. The largest country in the world, yet often misunderstood. From the streets of Moscow to the frozen tundras of Siberia, Russia is more than stereotypes. Red Square at sunset, sprawling Siberian landscapes, Kremlin guards marching, the bustling Moscow metro, solemn faces of villagers in rural Russia, an oil rig in the snow. But what lies beyond the headlines? Behind the myths of bears, balalikas, and geopolitics is a nation shaped by history, resilience, and conflict. The weight of history. Russia's story begins not with the Kremlin or its Tsars, but with the vast forests and rivers that cradled its early Slavic tribes. From Kiev and Rus to the Mongol invasions, Russia was born through fire and survival. Mongol warriors, even the Terribles portraits the grand expansion into Siberia. Russia covers 11 time zones, a vast empire first unified under Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, in the 16th century. Moscow, now a global capital, was once a remote settlement fighting off invaders. Every Russian generation knows struggle, war, revolution, and rebirth. From the rise of the Romanovs to the Bolshevik fires of 1917, Russia's power has always come at a price. The Soviet shadow. In Cold War rockets launching, leaders at podiums, Soviet cities in snow. For much of the 20th century, Russia was a superpower locked in an ideological Cold War with the West. Nuclear bomb tests. Yuri Gagarin smiling in his spacesuit. The first man in space was Russian. Soviet propaganda posters celebrating industry and unity. Fact: the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, leading to the largest geopolitical shift of the century. Economic hardships followed. Millions struggled to adapt to capitalism in the 1990s. When the Soviet hammer fell, Russia stood on uncertain ground. The 90s brought chaos, oligarchs, and dreams of a brighter future. Vladimir Putin's first public appearances as president. Modern Russia. Power and paradox. View of Moscow. Modern skyscrapers alongside Stalin-era architecture. Today's Russia balances old traditions and new ambitions. It's a nation of contrasts. Oil riches and rural poverty. Modern cities and fading villages. Siberian oil fields. Ultra-wealthy oligarch lifestyles versus struggling farmers. Protests in St. Petersburg juxtaposed with nationalistic rallies. Russia remains the world's largest producer of natural gas. It has one of the most advanced space programs yet faces demographic decline. Moscow is Europe's largest city, but rural populations are shrinking fast. For many, Russia remains an enigma, a rising power to some, a threat to others. But ask any Russian, and they'll tell you. Their nation is one of survival, endurance, and pride. An older Russian woman smiling in the snow. The Russian soul, culture and identity. Russian ballet, literature, and Orthodox cathedrals. Beyond politics lies the Russian soul, a spirit immortalized by Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Pushkin. Celebrated in the movements of the Bolshoi ballet and the hymns of Orthodox choirs. A ballet performance in Moscow. St. Basil's Cathedral shining in the evening light. People celebrating Maslenitsa, Pancake Week, in a snowy village square. For centuries, art and faith have been Russia's refuge. A reminder that beauty can bloom even in hardship. Russia is home to 30 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The Bolshoi Theatre is one of the oldest and most prestigious in the world. The power of geography. are drone shots of vast landscapes, frozen tundras, dense forests, and winding rivers. Russia's geography is its greatest asset and its greatest challenge. A nation spanning 2 continents, from Europe to the Pacific. Its sheer size shapes its people and its politics. Trans-Siberian Railway cutting across snow-covered plains. Frozen Lake Baikal, the world's deepest freshwater lake. Nomadic tribes in Yakutia herding reindeer. Russia spans over 17 million square kilometers. Lake Baikal holds 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater reserves. To control such vast land, Russians have had to adapt, building cities in the cold and roads in the wilderness. It's a land that tests limits and rewards resilience. Russia and the world. International summits, military parades, and global trade ports. For centuries, Russia has been a player on the world stage. From Tsars to Soviets to modern leaders, its influence stretches far beyond its borders. The United Nations Assembly. Russian-made military equipment displayed at parades. Gas pipelines connecting Russia to Europe. Russia supplies nearly 40% of Europe's natural gas. It has the second largest military in the world. Whether as a rival, ally, or energy supplier, Russia's actions reverberate globally. It is both feared and courted, respected and misunderstood. The resilient spirit of rural Russia. In small villages, farmers working and families gathered at wooden homes. Away from Moscow's glamour, rural Russia holds the country's soul. Villages that have stood for centuries tell stories of hard work, community, and survival. Farmers plowing fields under a grey sky. Traditional Russian wooden houses, izbas with intricate carvings. Elderly villagers sharing tea and bread. Over 25% of Russians live in rural areas. Many villages face depopulation as young people move to cities. Yet, in these quiet spaces, traditions endure. Faith, family, and a connection to the land remain unbroken, forming the backbone of Russia's identity. Science and innovation in Russia. Labs, tech hubs, and spaceports. From launching the first human into space to cutting-edge science, Russia has always been a nation of innovation. A Soyuz rocket launching from Baikonur. Scientists working on robotics in labs. Students in tech campuses designing prototypes. Russia's Roscosmos remains a cornerstone of global space exploration. The nation excels in aerospace, nuclear technology, and artificial intelligence. Enjoying this journey through Russia's hidden truths? Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next.